It's July 3rd, and what happened today? I started posting on LinkedIn. I was updating my profiles, and I kind of went back and forth on this a lot, actually. So it's July 3rd today, and I was originally intending to post something on LinkedIn on July 1st, because, July 1st, I wanted to launch. It's kind of like that, oh, I'm getting like the perfect kind of timeline type of thing going on. Like this is going to be on schedule, and then I hesitated. I paused because I'm like, am I uh, am I ready to be seen? And it's a funny question because all of this time I'm like, I want to be seen. I'm ready to kind of step out and all of these things. And it's almost like if I think about like social media as like different spaces, there's like different kind of like environments that I've dipped my toe into. So like Instagram, I'm pretty like consistent on there. I'm sharing like um, I'm consistent on like sharing stories as well as like posts from time to time, and it's nice. Like I'm getting that response of people seeing those things and saying like, hey, like I saw your stuff and you're posting more, and that's cool. YouTube, I started putting things out there a couple days ago, as you may or may not know, and it's just like putting the stuff out there. Substack, I've been posting, and kind of one of the really cool things is one of the writers on there that I really enjoy reading liked one of my posts. I just noticed, and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but that's pretty cool. So I'm happy about that. Those like little pieces of recognition. TikTok, I'm also on, like putting various things out there. But LinkedIn has kind of been a little bit of this like not mystery, but it feels like a different environment, like stepping into a different room, because it's like because of the people who are potentially there. Like it could be like colleagues, classmates, people in the business world, and then like really thinking. I think what's giving me pause is like the question of how I will be perceived in that environment based on the things that I'm sharing. And it's funny because I'm comfortable enough sharing this in like a one-on-one setting. And I think when I'm in those settings, I'm trying to like just like lay the right context. And this is something that I used to do a lot more. Now that I'm reflecting on it, I would kind of like ease my way into different conversations of kind of like first like towing the water, tiptoeing, like just gauging the temperature of the room, and before kind of going into sharing some of like the broader things that I share. So and like to me, like I guess like this is my own kind of like partition of the information, which is like hypnosis is kind of like out there, human design is a little bit out there, although like that conversation has gotten a lot easier, and it's kind of like moved to this position where I'm like more ready to just put it out there. And I think all of that work has been really helpful in preparing for this particular, like getting me to this point right here of like posting onto LinkedIn. Because again, LinkedIn it's another like kind of risk or a chance, right? That I would be taking, in a lot of like business circles and stuff like that. There's like reputational risk. And I mean, if I guess the question is like, if I were to be judged on the things that I share with the intention of like, I believe, like, I believe that this can be helpful. And at the same time, I'm not pushing anything on you. I'm not trying to say that this is the way that you have to do. I'm not saying this is the panacea that will solve and cure all your problems. And at the same time, if you find that the information is helpful to you at some level, then you're welcome, right? Like that's all I can ask for. And if someone were to judge me poorly based on that, I don't know how much I would necessarily care. like like if that were to be the case. I think like the biggest fears would be like if it was to harm like my ability to like provide, I suppose. But then the other way of looking at that is like if that were to be the case, Like if my authentic self-expression was something that others wanted to like step on and put down, then those spaces aren't safe. Those spaces weren't made for me, and that's fine. And I think that just makes me kind of think that 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 topic is very topical right now, because there's so much judgment about like the way that people are and all of these things. And I don't want to get into all of that, other than to say that like we are more than the perceptions of other people. When we are perceived in a certain way and put into a certain box, then that is almost like a limit on your infinite potential. And I do mean infinite. Like there's literally like there's more things that you could choose to do than there's time in the day. At the same time, you're not going to choose a lot of those things. It's not that it's impossible, but probably just improbable, unlikely, or things that you just don't want to do. Like you could do them. Like I could like try and stand on my head right now, but I don't want to. I'd prefer to sit here with my cup, chatting with you. Chatting with you, chatting with me. So like that kind of gave me a pause, and just reflecting back on like what's kind of in my way. It's actually my brain, my mind, this head center that's like receiving all of these different thoughts. It's like, where are the thoughts coming from? Like there are times when like I know and I feel that I'm on the right path, that I'm doing the right thing, that I am moving in the direction that I need to move in. And then like there's a voice, or there's like a thought or a pause that says like, oh, what about this? Or what if it doesn't work out the way that you think that it will? And like that becomes the sole focus of it. But then what if it turns out better? What if it turns out better than I thought it would? And I think it's like to like pause and remember the things that like the good feedback. Like it's something that it's easy for me to point out for other people sometimes. Like for example, like when you work in a community pharmacy, sometimes I would have like staff that react or respond to patients in a certain way. You create all of these different kind of like protection mechanisms. So it's like you try to like qualify like a wait time, like, oh, the prescription's going to take this long if you're going to wait for it because we're busy, we have all of these things, and blah blah blah, and like just trying to qualify all of these things, right? At the same time, it's like if you go to a restaurant, or if you go into like a coffee shop and you order a coffee or you order food, the person on the other side just says okay and then takes your money, and then they don't say like, oh, you know, it's like really backed up right now, or it's like really busy, so it's going to be like whatever time. Food takes the time that it takes to make, you know. I think in that specific context, though, there's a little bit of like a lack of information or knowledge about what happens actually behind the pharmacy counter, just to kind of keep with that example. But like if you're making food and you're cooking and stuff like that, like you've probably seen food being cooked in front of you before, and you understand that it takes time, and you've seen that coffee takes time to make, and things that you have a closer relationship to, fine. You can kind of guess at that, right? But when you go into like a pharmacy, you're like handing a prescription into a black hole, and then something happens, and then eventually your medication comes out. So all of that is to say, rather than addressing the actual problem of like letting patients know what happens behind the counter, and like acting as if like valuing the time that's required, and if that's interesting to you, let me know. I could go on about that for a while, but getting to a point of like knowing why you're doing it, and then acting as if you're doing things like meaningfully, sometimes takes a process. And when you're in the process, it's difficult to kind of do that, right? So then like I'm in process right now. I'm in the process of putting this thing together, putting the words out there, figuring out like how exactly to talk about this, and just even thinking about like what the actual, like, how I want to deliver the information, because I know what Haizhen is. Uh, Haizhen is the reconnection of you to your core essence. It's the thing that shakes that frequency that's already inside of you, so that you can live true, authentic self-expression. And that idea of like shaking things up is really meaningful to me, because I believe that when we talk about like authentic frequencies and vibrations, when we are each in our individual authenticity, that's where we begin to, that we have a matched frequency, basically. So it's not that I have to be the same as you and you have to be the same as me in terms of like appearance and physical features and all of these things. Although sometimes those things do end up converging. And whether there are outside influences of that force, I don't know, but or I don't have a comment on at this particular time. But if we are all vibing at our authentic frequency, then we can be ourselves with each other. And how nice would that be, right? There's a whole lot of layers there, but I believe that when we peel back all the layers and we are living as authentically as we can be in the moment, and I think that this is something that kind of like waxes and wanes, just like the moon. But the moon is still always there. Even though you're seeing like a half moon or a crescent moon, the whole thing is there. It's just you're not seeing the full picture. So getting back to like this place that I'm in, I spent the last 2 days just waiting and pausing on getting myself out onto LinkedIn. And I know why, but I also don't know why I put so much focus on like these thoughts that were kind of swimming in my head. I have to accept that. And it's not necessary. It's not that I lost any time. I think it was helpful because what happened in the last couple days has helped me further articulate where I want to take this program and where I want to communicate it, or how I want to talk about it and how I want to share it out. I think I was beginning to fall into the trap of like, this is a program that is for everyone and everybody would benefit from it. And it's not incorrect. However, to talk in those broad strokes makes it very difficult for people to identify into it. This is kind of what I learned from marketing. And it's really like, all of this really is a marketing message, right? Because I'm doing my best to connect with people who would find this immediately beneficial. And if you're selling something for everyone, like I think it's a little bit difficult to do that on a broad scale, especially immediately when nobody knows like what the heck any of this is. So my focus is on leadership, is on emerging leaders, is on executive readiness. And when I say executive readiness, I don't mean executive presence in the traditional sense. I don't mean leadership in the traditional sense. I think all of that is really well defined. When I'm talking about executive readiness, I mean a new form of readiness, a readiness to lead from a place for the future, not looking for the past. And where I believe that's going is being able to enter into spaces and enter into leadership conversations and those types of places with your authentic presence, to be able to be grounded in your values and lead from that perspective, to understand the value of all the people that you are leading. Because for me, I don't believe that leadership is a top-down thing. I don't believe it's something where the leader is out front marching away and just expecting people to follow, right? That's kind of the vernacular, the terminology that's thrown around, right? You have leaders and then you have followers, and the followers just kind of do what the leaders say. But really, if you look at it, the followers or the people that you are responsible for as a leader are there to support you. They are the ones who make everything that you believe to be true, that you vision to happen, they make it a reality. And without everybody that is supporting that leader, that person has nothing. So the leader has that ultimate responsibility of supporting their people, the ultimate responsibility of supporting their people and giving them a vision to move towards. And once you have that goal and you understand that you can get there, then it makes everything so much easier. That vision piece is really important. And I think even on a individual level, we are all leaders in our own right. We have to lead our own lives. When you realize that you are the one who's responsible for your own life, you can make the decisions that take you from point A to point B, rather than waiting for somebody to tell you that you need to go, or tell you that you need to go to point C, but that's really not where you want to go. You have that ability to support yourself, right, through your own resources. The vision part, I think, sometimes is challenging, of understanding what you want your life to look like, of where you want to go. And there are indicators, I think, over time. What I have noticed actually is through discussing human design with a number of emerging leaders or established leaders, is that over time you end up moving towards naturally those spaces and places that are that match you for the energy that you want, or the purpose that you're here to live. And maybe this is my own kind of like thing of like feeling I have to qualify that you have a unique purpose and that it can be written in the stars. Because like I didn't come from a background that necessarily believed that. And at the same time, it's not to say it's a blind belief. It's just based on observation and sharing the information through human design about incarnation cross that outlines your purpose as an individual in this human incarnation, in this lifetime. And it's your choice whether you live to that purpose or not. But what I have found is that people end up moving into places that that they ultimately align with that purpose. And for me, the difference, the separation here is purpose tells you the reason of your being, the reason that you're here to fulfill, what you're here to do. But it doesn't tell you how you're meant to do it. And to me, that's more of a passion. So you may have a purpose to do one thing. Let's say you have a purpose to teach. It doesn't say to teach what. It just is up to you. It's your choice. Your wherever your passions lead you, wherever your wants and wills take you, that is your choice. So while your purpose is written in the stars, you have the free choice to execute that purpose in any space that you want. So then I'm like sitting here understanding all of this information. I know that I want to get out there and teach. My purpose is to teach and refine, to take complex ideas and make them understandable and applicable for everybody that is involved with them. And I'm doing that in the pharmacy space. I'm doing that in the leadership space. And that's my passion, because I believe that if I am able to share this out, then this will be able to be shared more widely, to create people who can then create environments and communities of people who are all just thriving and living well in their highest vibrations, in their highest authenticity together. And if we all do that one simple thing of living the way that we are meant to live, I think that we'd all be living a much nicer life. Not to say that things aren't good now. So even knowing all of that, like I have this pause of like, what do I do, right? So like today, I started posting on LinkedIn. I updated my profile. I changed my profile picture. And I just posted actually that I finished my MBA class, like as a lot of my other classmates have done. I kind of like held off on that because I don't know, like part of it is like, will people even care? But so far, a lot of nice responses, which is good for me. I appreciate that. And I have to do a better job of remembering that those things are there. Even as I'm putting this coaching program together, like as I'm sharing it, I've gotten a lot of people saying that I would be really good at that. And I'm like, thanks. Like, that's really nice of you to say. And then, like, I'll turn around and then I'll forget. It's easy to forget. So, my learning is I need to get out of my own head, to stop those voices and just do the things that feel aligned, and not sweat the result. Whatever happens will happen. And if I'm working aligned, then that will be in my favor. And whatever consequences that there might be, I will accept them. I have to, because those are the decisions that I've made. So after doing this, I'm going to finish. I'm just gonna, like, I was trying to make like the launch trailer for the Haizhen YouTube website, and I just haven't yet. And so I'm gonna go do that. And then, like, hopefully, like, this kind of format is kind of interesting for people to listen through. And maybe I will utilize this to make some official videos for my YouTube channel rather than just like long rambly ones. Maybe I don't know if I'll stick to a script, because that doesn't seem like my vibe. So I think I'm overthinking again. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go do some stuff. And then I'll see you again tomorrow.